So, and I would like to introduce our speaker. I believe that all of you know our speaker, but still, we are very honored to have today Fergal McCarthy, who is the Peace Program Manager at Rotary International, and one of his key responsibilities at Rotary is the creation and continued implementation of a strategic plan for many peacebuilding activities that Rotary currently offers. And he is also responsible for the organization of all Rotary International organized peacebuilding conferences and pre-conventions events. He is also a member of the Rotary Club of World Peace. And he has background in media and communications, having produced documentaries and focus on peace building and development projects in Brazil, Malawi, South Sudan, India, and Pakistan. And prior to his work in Rotary, Fergal worked at Rand Corporation in California, the Irish Prime Minister office in Dublin, Ireland, as well as Irish Foreign Ministry. And he has he holds a BA in World Religions, Theology, and Master of Philosophy in International Peace Studies from Trinity College Dublin, and a MA in Comparative Ethnic Conflict Studies from Queen's University Belfast, as well as in International Relations from the University of Cambridge. And we are very honored to have today our first speaker, Fergal McCarthy, within the series of meetings and future webinars within Rotarian Peace Project Incubator. So, and I'd like now to give the floor to our speaker, and please think about your questions, which you can ask later.
Thanks for that, Natalia. Let me quickly just share my screen and get that set up. I didn't want to do that while you were talking. Can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, as Natalia mentioned, my name is Fergal McCarthy, Peace Program Manager here at Rotary International Headquarters in Chicago, although I'm originally from Dublin, Ireland. I wasn't entirely sure what to include in today's presentation. There's quite a lot happening, so I'll just share some of the recent developments and some of the key things that have sort of been happening in recent times, but happy to answer any questions that you might have at the end. So, as Peace Program Manager, my first major responsibility.
Fergal, you froze.
As was the creation of an overarching that strategic plan it encompasses. Okay. So one of the first things that we looked at were our communications in the peace area and how could they possibly be improved. There's still a lot to be done. It's not a finished product, but I think it's certainly moving in the right direction. One of the first sort of tasks that we had was to create a mission statement and a vision statement, and some of you may have seen this before. Our mission statement essentially states that peace holds a unique status in Rotary. We approach peace not as an abstract concept, but as a living dynamic expression of human development. As a humanitarian service organization, it's both a cornerstone of our mission and one of our areas of focus. One of the main ways in which our members make their mark in the world. Our vision statement, where we would like to see ourselves, states that together we see a world, and this is heavily based on the overarching strategic plan for Rotary as a whole. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting peace across the globe and in our communities and in ourselves. So at the international level, the communal level, and then of course, inner peace, sort of a prerequisite for the other two being possible. By creating environments where lasting peace is possible, Rotary's peace initiatives aim to bring about more peaceful societies through its ability to convene, which of course is a major strength of Rotary, something that is sometimes overlooked. The very fact that we just bring people together in itself is an achievement, and mobilize locally to affect global change. With our mission statement and our vision statement in place, we wanted to sort of define what it is that, what are Rotary's strengths in the peace area, what are our main sort of identities in our footprint in the peace arena. And working with our communications team, internal communications team, we came up with Rotary's 4 roles in peace buildings, and these are on our website, so you may have come across them before, or if you've heard me speak, you may have heard about them previously. essentially, we are practitioners in peace, of course, through everything that we do through global grants, the projects that we fund and support in the PCP area, the peace building and conflict prevention area focus, but also through all of the projects that are funded and organized and overseen at the club and district level, and indeed by individual Rotarians. Education, of course, is a major strength of Rotary, not just in the peace area. We have a BEL, basic education and literacy is one. Oh, sorry. So yeah, but education is, of course, a strength of Rotary, not just in the peace area, but also in non-sort of peace-focused projects through the BEL area focus. But specifically in the peace area, we of course have our flagship peace building initiative, which is the Rotary Peace Fellowship Program, as well as global grants that we fund in the PCP area, global grant scholarships, I should say. And then we have a number of other peace education initiatives, such as the Positive Peace Academy that comes from the IEP partnership, and all of the workshops and activator trainings that come from that. Mediation has been a strong point for Rotary. Although we're not putting ourselves in that place of being mediators, we're not a mediation organization, we are a non-political organization. Nonetheless, we have mediated in time, back in time, in certain conflicts. We have also, we have a partnership with Mediators Beyond Borders International, who provide, it's not called mediation training, it's called peace conversation facilitation training to our members as a service organization. And then advocates, through everything that we do, we advocate for more peaceful societies, just by our very presence, not to mention our projects and our initiatives, and the fact that our peace fellows are sort of on the ground as well. We're essentially advocating for more peaceful societies, more peaceful and resilient societies, and equitable societies. So they are 4 roles in peace building. Having a mission statement and a vision statement, and also sort of defining our roles, we wanted to sort of look and see how we could bring all of what we did all that we do in the peace area, how we could sort of present that as a collective to our members. And that is an underlining goal of the peace strategy, is trying to sort of build awareness about just the amount of actual opportunities that are available to our members. And this is the Everyday Peace Builder list. It goes some way in doing that. We've still a bit more work to do, but this is sort of a first start. And this can be found on my Rotary. It's deliberately very succinct, super short. It's only a page and a half if you printed it off. But if we do it in peace, it will be mentioned here. And the idea is to sort of present everything that we do in peace as this collective, this kind of menu of options that members can get involved with. So if you've been involved with an ICC for the past couple of decades, you may not ever have been involved in endorsing a great candidate for the Peace Fellowship Program. Equally, you may not have ever engaged with the Positive Peace and our Positive Peace Academy, and may not be aware of those sort of teachings. So the purpose of this is to sort of bring all of that together in one place, and to have a very short, and try and bring sort of a small bit of order to a lot of disparate sort of separate sort of peace entities that we offer. There will be a flyer created for the Everyday Peace Builder list that is in production as we speak. So that will be made available on the website in time. Another, similar to the Everyday Peace Builder list, we wanted to create something that was in print form, or for members that could print and hand out at their events, district conferences and whatnot, and meetings. So this is the Rotary Peace Programs brochure. It has been a very long time coming. It's had over 50 contributors from internally within the Secretariat, from a number of teams throughout the Secretariat, from the Area Focus and Peace, the Peace Fellowship Program, all of our engagement programs, all of our partners in the peace area, all of our all that external relations are doing with Rotary Day at the UN and the Rotary Representative Network. So the purpose of the brochure is to bring all of that in sort of a nice, glossy, image-rich publication, where we, again, similar to the Everyday Peace Builder list, we bring everything sort of together and sort of associate them with each other. So this is it. this is the English version of this is going to be ready, I think, in the next couple of weeks. It's had many speed bumps, but we're finally getting to the stage where it's soon to be released. I just got word yesterday that the translations that will unfortunately have to be bumped until the new year because of all the work that copy editing and translation and design, how busy they are with International Assembly and with the Rotary leadership initiative as well coming up in the new year. So unfortunately, it's, although we're there with the English version, we have a little bit to go with the other languages. But yeah, it's on the right path at least. So this slide has actually two purposes. One was basically to show how another part of the peace strategy is to sort of create a singular look and feel for our peace initiatives. So this kind of vertical striped, rainbow striped look is sort of is the look and feel of all of our peace programs, and we want it to be used so that people recognize it when they see this. They recognize that it's a Rotary Peace Initiative, and this was an example of that. This is our campaign to mark International Day of Peace, where we focused on girl empowerment, and as you see, we carried over the sort of vertical coloring, the sort of rainbow stripes, to sort of associate each of these initiatives with one another. Also to mention that International Day of Peace is very much part of the strategy. We want to mark it more so than we have before each year. So this year we did girl empowerment. Last year we tried to sort of show the sort of collective of peace initiatives. So we did something on rags, and we did something on, we showcased a peace fellow and a positive peace activator, and so on. So yeah, marking International Day of Peace is also a major sort of goal of the strategy. And this is just a peace fellow that we featured in that girl empowerment initiative, Amanda Luz from Mexico. And then it's just another example of how we've carried out this was a campaign that we did to promote the Global Peace Builder District program, which I'll speak about in a moment, where it was relaunched last year. And again, we carried over the same look and feel, so that this design and this look and feel will eventually sort of become sort of synonymous with Rotary Peace Initiatives. People will recognize it instantly. Okay, the Peace Fellowship Program, I won't talk a huge amount about it, but the Peace Fellowship Program has its own growth plan. Of course, we revised the certificate program in Chula. We created a new peace center in sub-Saharan Africa at McCarthy University. And we currently have a search committee that is looking into a new peace center in the MENA region, Middle East and North African region. So from the wider kind of peace strategic goals, we want to incorporate all of that exciting developments, incorporate that into the strategy where possible, whether it's featuring a fellow from the new certificate program in Macarere, which we do and which we are doing, or in time doing likewise with the new peace center in the Middle East. I'm sure many of you may be aware we accepted in a record-breaking gift of 15.5 million to find a new peace center in the Middle East or North Africa, and a search committee is working on that diligently, following the same protocols and the same process that they did so with the peace center in Africa. Okay, and then of course, I know we've many peace fellows on the call today. We want to utilize the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association as much as possible. The purpose of the association was to create a meeting place for Peace Fellows, but also a place where Rotarians and Peace Fellows can interact. And whether it's the Everyday Peace Builder list or the Rotary Peace Programs brochure or any form of messaging that we have, we always include the fellowship, the Alumni Association as a resource to our members. We mentioned the events that they hold and give them the links to their YouTube channel. And we also highlight the database, the opportunity to have Peace Fellows speak at your club. And that's especially important and a great opportunity in the fact that we have so many virtual meetings today. Okay, so I think, yeah, let me say a little bit about our peace partners. Essentially, we want to promote any sort of assets that come from any of our partnerships. So in the case of the Institute for Economics and Peace, it's probably one of the easiest partners. It's a strategic partnership of Rotary. So there's funding involved, and it's one of the easiest partnerships to sort of engage with through the Positive Peace Academy, and then potentially to through its workshops or its activator trainings, as I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Essentially the Institute for Economics and Peace provide resources that sort of define negative peace and positive peace in one another. They are formulated under their 8 pillars of positive peace, which of course if you complete the academy, it takes you through all of this content. And then we provide resources for you, such as this, our PowerPoint presentation and a workshop facilitation guide, which all can be found online on our website, for you then to go and start a conversation at the club and district level, or in your wider community as well. So, so engaging with our partners and engaging with the IEP partnership is something that we really want to promote. We have 4 main partners in the peace area: the IEP, Mediators Beyond Borders International, Peace Corps, and Shelter Box, which I'll talk about in a moment. But Mediators Beyond Borders International, they have a program that was specifically created for Rotary, the Peace Conversation Facilitation Program, which, as I mentioned, is a tool to sort of train Rotarians to facilitate peaceful conversations, both within their wider communities, but also within the clubs, their club context, which is sort of increasingly important given sort of the polarization in community and populist politics and sort of difference of opinion that one finds sometimes at the club level. Peace Corps, I know Peace Corps is a North American organization, but nonetheless, with that North American lens, looking at it through that North American lens, there's a real opportunity for Rotary to engage with Peace Corps, to bring into the Rotary family returned Peace Corps volunteers, especially given the crossover of ethos and values and the agenda of the 2 organizations and the goals that both organizations want to see happen in the world. It seems an obvious place for us to reach out to for potential members. And then also, whether they become a member or not, for Peace Corps volunteers that are about to be posted, for them to engage with their local Rotary club in North America, and then have connections with Rotary clubs wherever it is they're being posted to have those connections on the ground before they leave. So yeah, it's very much something that we want to promote. Shelter Box is a phenomenal organization. Although it is not strictly a peace building organization, it responds predominantly to natural disasters, crises that have come from natural disasters. They do respond to some crises that are disasters that have been created by conflict, the Syrian crisis for one, as well as they work in the Lake Chad Basin area, and the refugee situation that's been created from outbreaks of violence there. So in my mind, at least, they need to be incorporated in everything that we're doing in peace and promoted as much as any of the other 3 peace building partners. Okay, let me see, what else do I have here? I'm not going to go into, I know intercountry committees are very popular in Europe, so I won't go into a huge amount about what they are. I know you're probably fully aware of them. They're not as popular in North America, at least, and in other parts of the world, although they are growing. They're growing in Asia quite a bit, and somewhat in Africa. But essentially, just to mention that we through all of our messaging, we want to ensure that we're including all of our engagement programs. So ICCs, Rotary friendship exchanges, Rotary fellowships, all of these programs have created some really impactful, useful peace building initiatives. And we want to ensure that members are fully aware of the opportunities that are presented to them through engaging through these programs. It doesn't necessarily have to be through a global grant. It doesn't have to be in association with the Peace Fellowship program or something like that, or one of our partners. That you can do an awful lot even just through a friendship exchange or fellowship or ICC. Also, again, in all of our marketing, we mentioned the fact that a lot of Rotarians aren't aware of the fact that we have a Rotary representative network, a representative that represents the organization at UN offices throughout the world, as well as a number of international organizations, such as the African Union and the Arab League and the European Union, and I was going to say the OSCE, but that's not true. A number, the OAS, sorry. and a number of other international organizations. And we give details of how if you see a role for UNICEF in your project, or you see a role for UNHCR in your project, we provide an opportunity for you to get in touch with the representative to that UN agency and see if they will speak at your club, or if they will sort of assist with putting you in contact with the right people at that agency. So we really want members to use it as a resource, if it's appropriate. Rotary Day at the UN, of course, is an opportunity for us to showcase everything that we do. It's not necessarily a peace day. It can look at it. So I think it was Champions of Health last year. I think this year they're doing it on, oh God, I'm trying to remember what they're doing this year. I can't remember, but yeah, it's essentially not necessarily focused on peace as such. A couple of years back, they did it on the refugee crisis, those working in refugee communities. Okay, just quickly to mention supporting peace. This was another initiative that we completely revised. The Peace Builder District Program used to be a fundraising mechanism just for the peace centers. It was only DDF, you could only give DDF, and it had to be made available for immediate expenditure. So what we did is we completely revised the program. If you gave to the endowment for the Peace Center, you didn't receive this recognition. So even though if you gave 100,000 to the endowment, your district wouldn't get any recognition of any kind for that. So we wanted to ensure that funds that went for immediate expenditure as well as the endowment got recognized within the Peace Centers. And then we also wanted to recognize any funds that went to the peace area of focus. Again, if those funds were made available for immediate expenditure, or the endowment in that case for the area of focus. So essentially we went from one option, which was just immediate expenditure funds, to 4 options, and encompassing our 2 main peace building flagship initiatives. We also, we typically only accepted DDF. We got rid of that rule, and we now accept DDF and cash. In fact, we're sort of promoting the cash side of it. Cash was sort of accepted as a favor to some districts who wanted to make up the shortfall if they didn't have the full 25,000 to gain the recognition. So we are now actively promoting district cash and DDF as an option for becoming a global Peace Builder District program, or Peace Builder District, I should say, sorry. And we also renamed it. We inserted the name global at the beginning. So this is one of the main ways in which members can sort of actively get involved and directly fund a peace fellow, or directly fund a positive peace workshop or activator training. These funds go directly to those initiatives. Okay, just a quick mention of peace events. As some of you may recall, we had the ICC virtual pre-con last year. So a very focused program on one specific engagement program, which I thought was a great idea because it really sort of gave us an opportunity to showcase what's possible just through one program, one initiative. And then this year, obviously this is the Peace Fellow Alumni Association conference, which we equally promote through everything that we do. This year, we in Houston, it's quite a different focus. It's a very broad interpretation of peace building. It not only wants to showcase everything that we're doing in peace and everything that I spoke about today, but actually throughout our 7 areas of focus and throughout all of our program initiatives. It wants to really showcase how everything that we do goes on to support and create and nurture more peaceful and resilient and equitable societies. So we're open to content that could be, that might look at polio, or might look at our reaction to the COVID-19 crisis and the pandemic, to stuff that is in WASH programs, to, of course, content that comes from the immediate Rotary peace building family as well. So yeah, a very broad sort of focus on and a broad interpretation of what is peace building. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about next year's conference, if you wish. What else have? Oh yeah, and then just to wrap up, just again to remind about the Peace Builder, Everyday Peace Builder list. As I mentioned, we will be creating a more accessible, this is a kind of a news article on My Rotary, that's how it went out first, but we will be creating a 1-pager kind of glossy flyer that will sort of shorten it down again, and it will just be sort of the 10 points, the top 10 ways you can get involved in peace building, which is forthcoming. And of course the brochure as well, a resource to keep an eye out for hopefully we'll get that out as soon as possible. And I think that is it.